Welcome to SVEA Internet Radio. Welcome to the Seneca Valley Education Association Internet Radio, hosted by me, Oliver SVEA. Today in our studio, we've got Patrick Andrikovich, Chief Negotiator for the SVEA. Patrick, how you doing today?
Very well. How are you doing today, Oliver?
I'm doing good. Glad to have you back. We got George True. George, thanks for coming to our high-definition studio. What do you think?
Always a pleasure. Nice studio.
Thank you. And finally, new to the studio, another member of the negotiating team. We've got Rich Norris. Welcome to SVEA Radio.
Thank you, Oliver. Thanks for having us.
Last Friday, KDK put on a forum where you guys were talking up there. It lasted about 3 hours. George, what did you learn from the community on Friday?
Well, Oliver, I think we learned that there are a lot of passionate people that really care about their children, their children's education. They're a little bit frustrated. They'd like to see this situation over as soon as possible and their children back in school.
Rich, what did you learn as you sat there and listened to people get up there and talk?
I learned there are a lot of emotions out there. People getting fired up over this. It's what it's going to take to get this settled. And they just want what's best for their kids, get them back in the classroom. Same thing we're interested in.
Pat, what did you learn? You actually did some speaking on the radio. What did you learn as you sat there?
I think George and Rich did a pretty good job of summarizing. People want the kids back in the classroom. They want the board and the teachers back to the table to bargain. And, and as I've said before, the only way that's going to happen is if the people call up their board member, whether they're for us or against us, tell them to get back to the table, do some real bargaining, and we can get this issue resolved quickly.
On Friday, Tom Breath, the spokesman for the board, said that he would not betray the public on the survey that they put out. Pat, your thoughts on that?
The survey, obviously, we view as somewhat of a ruse. Mr. King, that was something he created. He didn't get the results he wanted from the fact-finding that took place over the summer. The raises were larger than what he had expected. He didn't get what he wanted from the public forum that they held. Maybe 100 people showed up to. So he created this survey, generated the questions to get the answers that he wanted. It's very unfortunate that they have based their whole bargaining strategy on this survey, which is frankly a little bit of a joke.
What do we know about Tom King's pay increase that he got?
Well, we know there were no questions on the survey regarding Tom King's salary or his pay increase. That kind of went straight through without a whole lot of public debate. There was no public outrage. There was even no discussion. I was there when it voted, and when they voted on it, and it took all of about 10 seconds for that to happen. And I also know that if the board is okay with paying Mr. King and Mr. Breath $140 an hour for their services, you want to equate that to a teacher, that would be paying a teacher close to $195,000.
And his hourly rate is $140 an hour, correct?
$140 an hour, correct. That's what he's charging.
A board member on Friday stated that Tom Breath and Tom King don't have the authority to negotiate. Patrick, what kind of authority do you have when it comes to negotiating?
Oliver, my 585-member bargaining unit has given me the authority to go to the table and bargain the best contract possible for them. Those same people have told me, Pat, we have room to move on salary and benefits. We have not finished bargaining. Unfortunately, the board has dug in their heels. They're following the lead, the advice of Mr. King. He tried these same tactics at Brookville and at Punxsutawney, and they're 3-4 years without a contract, several strikes. He's trying to do that same thing here. It's very unfortunate, and I hope that the taxpayers are hopefully waking up to what's going on.
One of the things we keep hearing out there, and it keeps coming up time and time again, is let them vote on the board's proposal. Let them vote on the board's proposal.
Okay. The fact-finding, which took place over the summer, was something that we voted on and the board voted on, and the fact finder gave a better offer than what the board is currently offering. So our members, based on the surveys we've done with them, have told us where they want to be. They want to close that gap. Currently, we're more than $130,000 behind in career earnings with those other districts of similar size and similar wealth that we've talked about. The board's proposal would double that gap. That is not good enough for the kids of this district. It's not good enough for the teachers of this district. They voted on something and voted down something that was significantly higher than the board's proposal. So again, that is a non-issue. We've already voted on something that was significantly better than the board's proposal, and it got voted down.
Well, let's just clear this up for 1 second. So it's the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
The board calls for the fact finder, correct?
Correct. Up until May, we had settled all the non-economic issues for the most part. The three major issues that were left on the table were salary, benefits, and early retirement incentive. When we began bargaining, we both agreed that we were going to do the non-economic issues first and save the economic issues till the end. Well, when it came time to begin bargaining, the district unilaterally, on their own, requested fact-finding, which they could do. We voiced our concern with that. We said, wait a minute, why are we going to fact-finding? We haven't even bargained salary, we haven't even bargained benefits, and we haven't bargained early retirement. The district unfortunately chose to go that route, so we never got to bargain. We lost the whole summer. We couldn't bargain all summer long because you can't bargain during the fact-finding. And as I said earlier, the fact finder came out with a report, and in the last 2 years of that contract, we're giving 4.7% increases. That was not what the board had anticipated. We very clearly showed that this district is very healthy financially. It's evident by the fund balance. We don't want to touch that fund balance. The fund balance is an indicator that this district has the funds available to fund an equitable contract. And that's how we lost the whole summer, which is why we've never really gotten to bargain on salary and benefits. And unfortunately, the board continues to not want to bargain today.
So after the fact finder came out with the report, the board came out with another proposal?
Before we even voted on the fact finding, the board sent us what is they've considered their last best offer, which is basically what is on the table today. We hadn't even followed the whole fact-finding process, which we told them we were going to follow the fact-finding process before we would even look at their proposal. And as I stated, and this is very important, people need to understand that their proposal that they currently have on the table is significantly less than what was in the fact-finder's report. So if we're not going to accept that, why would we accept their proposal?
And the union has already voted twice to reject the fact finder, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Bottom line here, how do we resolve some of this? Let's send it over to George. How are we going to resolve this, George?
That's a good question, Oliver. In order to resolve a dispute, you got to have two sides willing to negotiate. Both sides have to come to the table willing to give a little bit and do a little bit of give and take. Unfortunately, it looks like there's only one side doing that right now.
Rich, how are we going to resolve this?
We come to the table knowing that the two current table positions will not settle this. When the other side realizes that, maybe we can get down to business, because negotiations is more than just showing up at the table.
Pat, how are we going to resolve this?
I think there's really only one way, and just to kind of piggyback on what Rich just said, until the board has an incentive to send their representatives to the table willing to bargain, willing to negotiate, this is not going to be resolved. We will be the next Brookville. We will be the next Punxsutawney. It will be 3 years. It will be multiple strikes. The only way that's not going to happen is if the public urges the board to send their representatives to the table willing to bargain. It's that simple. We have said over and over and over again, we have room to move. My 585 members have told me that, Pat, go to the table. There's room to move on salaries and benefits. Get it done. What we need now is somebody to bargain with. That's the only way this is going to get resolved.
Wow. Strong message there, guys. Well, I want to thank you all for coming on the show today. Pat, George, and Rich, it was great having you in our high-definition studio. If you've got comments, please send them to svteachers@zoominternet.net. This has been an SVEA Internet Radio production.